with the invisible man taking a seat next to the working woman. She took notice of him. Our male lead, the unseeable Akira Tonome, asked how she knew it was him. He thought she couldn't see. Our female lead, Shizuka Yako, answered, "I can smell you, Tonome-san." Tonome smelled himself. Yako felt bad. She wasn't trying to say he was stinky, but because she was blind, her auditory and olfactory perception was better than most. Tonome let off a charming chuckle. He thought it was nice to know he had his own scent, considering he couldn't smell himself. He'd suddenly go invisible and ask Yako where he was right now. She took out her earbuds, and through hearing, she visualized his walk and grabbed where he was. He laughed, remarking she's the only person who could ever find him, and that got his heart racing. Yako was quizzical. She didn't know how to take the concept of heart racing. He suddenly invited her to dinner this evening, making her stagger back. He asked her preference, Western, Chinese, Japanese, if she had a favorite restaurant, but like a typical woman, she was undecided. "I'm just kidding, guys. Or am I?" She told him she'd be happy with whatever he recommended. "Oh, don't say that. I'd take you to McDonald's for some McNuggets and fries." Luckily, Tonome knew just the place. He told Yako to grab his arm, and the two made their way. While walking the streets, Yako noticed his gait's rhythm was off. She wondered if something was bothering him. She immediately felt bad, thinking maybe he didn't have a place in mind after all. Tonome would stop to ask if there was a direction that smelt especially delicious to her. She pointed to a particular restaurant, and he expressed relief, worried she might not like this place, and thanked her for helping him decide. Yako smiled a little brightly. She was excited to try here. This was Tonome's first time here as well, so he went with the house's recommendations. Enjoying their meal, Yako giggled. This was her first time eating out with someone from her work. Her chatting stopped briefly, with Tonome's earlier words telling her his heart was racing and inviting her to dinner finally setting in for her. She only now realized that this was likely a date, but he didn't exactly call it that, so she thought maybe not. He'd snap her out of her thoughts to have her try what he was having, and asking her if something was wrong. She responded this was her first time dining alone with a man, and she was thinking, gosh, it's almost like a date. That was the intent, he answered plainly. She felt so embarrassed, getting in her own head about all this. To calm her down, he got up, asking to see her hand for a moment. He pulled it to his chest. Since he was invisible, it was hard for most people to tell, but he thought maybe she could feel it, even through his clothes. His heart was pulsating rapidly. He wanted to show her that she wasn't the only one who was nervous. Everyone at the restaurant was gasping at their romantic display. Tonome was beyond smooth. After dinner, he offered to walk her to the station. Now she was hesitating. The awareness of romantic intent made her heart race even harder. Grabbing his coat with flustered meekness, he asked if she wouldn't feel safer holding tighter. She squeaked out that no, she had her cane, so she could work it out. She promised she wasn't repulsed or anything, and he replied, perhaps it's the opposite. Then her face got steamy red. She questioned if Tonome was grinning at her right now. He couldn't believe she could tell, but she thought he could hardly hide it. He faced her, telling her he'd never hide it, and preferred that she knew. In fact, he felt like skipping right now. He asked if she wanted to skip with him. With her declining out of embarrassment, he thought it was too bad. Taking her hand around his arm, he promised to restrain himself and escort her properly. Making it to her apartment, Yako fell onto her bed, hands covering her face. She shrieked, wondering if things went well with Tonome today. She kicked her feet on the bed, just thinking about it. At work the next day, Yako thought about how nice Tonome's been since her first interview here. She thought his voice and the way he spoke was soothing. She could hear how elegantly he carried himself. She couldn't help but feel he was so wonderful. She shook her head, telling herself to stop. They only had dinner together once, and she didn't want to get ahead of herself. She wondered what Tonome thought of her. Remembering he was an invisible man, she now thought about how other people couldn't see him. She wondered how that felt. She asked Tonome if he wished she could see him, but he didn't really think so. He was invisible after all. He in turn asked her if she wished she could see him. And to that, she answered she could tell what kind of person he was. So that was enough for her. He was glad to hear that. Yako understood now. Tonome didn't need her to see him. While walking outside on break, Yako would accidentally stumble over a bike. Her coworker, Luna, caught her, saying, "That was close, Shizuka." Realizing it was her bike that caused this, Luna felt bad. Continuing work at the Tonome Detective Agency, Yako spoke with a potential client over the phone about how they handled a variety of investigations, including missing persons and background checks. Heading over to the printer, she bumped into a man and mistook him for a wall. Daichi asked who she was calling a wall. He was so tired tired. He told her she was in the way, to take 5 steps back, and that he placed her coffee to the right of her computer. Later, while Luna and Daichi were working, Yako asked them if there was anything strange about her appearance. Daichi thought nothing in particular. Luna asked if she was trying to impress someone, and told her she looked great today, letting Yako know she could talk to her if she needed romance advice. Yako tried to say it wasn't like that, but Luna thought her blushing was so cute. Daichi told Luna she was being too loud, and she started growling. She didn't want to hear it from him. Tonome entered and suddenly asked if he could touch Yako's hair. It gave her memories of her parents doing the same, and she allowed it. She flinched from his touch. He got it. There was a cherry petal on her head. She was thankful, but embarrassed by how nervous that made her. Luna questioned if their boss was the one she was into, and Yako quickly changed the subject to say it was time for consultations. Meeting with their clients, Tonome asked for the details. A majority of the women wanted investigations on if their husbands were cheating. Then, they'd meet with a squad of 4 aliens from the Milky Way that needed help finding their missing daughter. Yako took notes at breakneck pace as they gave the physical descriptors, but seeing the actual photo of her, Tonome thought it was rather hard to differentiate her from other aliens of the same species. Tonome followed the husband of the first client, and with him turning around, Tonome disappeared. Things like this were easy for an invisible man. He took note of the husband returning straight to work after sales calls today. Oh, a kid accidentally spilled his ice cream on Tonome. Tonome would buy him 3 fresh scoops. People bumping into him was something not so easy for an invisible man. In the office, Yako would share her audiobook with Luna. Luna never expected Yako to be listening at 3 times speed. Way too fast for her. Lately, Yako's been into romances. Just describing romantic moments made her squeal. She could listen at such a speed, having practiced since she was little. Remembering Luna was an animal, Yako asked about her sense of hearing and smell, having read about them in a book. However, Luna apparently wasn't great at that stuff. She couldn't notice Tonome even when he wasn't fully invisible, but did much better when she was focused. Yako would then ask to borrow Luna's eyes to read a receipt for her, and Luna remembered. This was a receipt for an economy-sized pack of animal person snacks she bought while guarding a client. They were on sale. She just had to buy them. Yako told her to please not spend company funds on frivolous things. With it getting late, Yako welcomed Tonome back, but getting no response. Luna assumed there was no one there. Daichi saw blood on the floor, and now Luna was worried Yako got hurt. Yako would later enter the meeting room with first aid. She knew Tonome was the one who needed it. He figured he couldn't fully hide himself when she was around. He ran into a bit of trouble today making his report on an infidelity investigation. The wife got pissed seeing a picture of her husband with another woman, and with the couple getting into an argument, she told Tonome to butt out and inadvertently slashed his arm. The client calmed down, so things went smoothly after. They were surprised that invisible people bled. Yako expressed her worry, and Tonome told her, honestly, since the damage was invisible, he didn't know how bad it was. He was sure it wasn't that bad though, he just bled more than expected. Yako was worried because if he bled too much, he could die. She asked if she could do anything to help, and with her holding down his gauze, he told her he didn't know why, but he didn't want her to worry about him. But her worry now made him feel strangely pleased. Realizing they were past office hours and their coworkers had gone home, Tonome told Yako he'd be staying late. Being out long put him behind, and he wasn't tired enough not to take care of his paperwork. Yako didn't want him to work alone. She decided to get some things done as well, and hoped when they were done, they could take a break together. Tonome suddenly wanted a break now. He could work after. He served her some tea, and while they drank together, Yako kept thinking about how she'd love to go on another date with him. She then realized she could just invite him out herself, and quickly asked him to join her for dinner tonight. This gave Tonome a warm chuckle. He asked her if they could make another reservation after that, because he found a place they can make their own tea blends, and wanted to take her there. She happily accepted. Arriving at the Elf Garden tea shop, Karma would show them to their seats. Different kinds of tea leaves were put out. Depending on the kind of tea they liked, they picked one to match. Yako asked Tonome what kind of tea he liked. He told her that he tended to focus on the ones they advertised, teas that improved focus or helped one relax. As for her, she really liked the one he made for her before. He was so happy to hear that. Karma would interrupt them, pointing out that he was the one who actually came up with that blend himself. According to him, Tonome had come to his shop earlier, saying, "I want something that'll make my girl happy." Karma thought Yako was so lucky. He asked how it felt to be dating an invisible man, and how long they'd been dating. Tonome told him they weren't dating just yet. Hearing it was yet to happen made Karma quite excited. He felt tonight would be a big night. That's when Light would smack him, apologizing on her husband's behalf. Tonome would then apologize to Yako for that awkward moment. Either way, she wanted him to make a tea blend for her, and she was eager to do the same for him as well. Happily staring at the two of them, Karma felt proud about making all this happen. But his wife would tell them to watch his ego. Once they were done picking out their blends, Light would take them to go brew. While they waited, Yako asked Tonome if he found this shop specifically for her. She quickly apologized for getting carried away, speculating. But she was right on the money. She had a habit of trying to work out people's motivations. Praising her intuition, he told her it was a fantastic quality in a detective's assistant. There were so many things she didn't know about him. She couldn't even imagine what he looked like unless she touched him. So he asked, "Do you want to touch me?" Of course, he meant his hand. In doing so, she noticed his fingers were more slender than her father's, and his nails were well kept too, even though people couldn't see it. He tried to maintain good hygiene. He was glad to hear Yako's compliment because he couldn't see for himself how well kept they were. She understood just what he meant. He'd take her hand, mentioning how well kept her nails were as well. She went flush. It was like he could see right through her. Following that, Light brought the tea, brewed from the blends they had created. One sniff, and they could tell how wonderful it was. Later in the office, Yako asked Luna how Tonome usually dressed. Luna answered that he wore suits most of the time. Excited, Yako was more eager to know what subset these suits were. Luna told her they were like the English gentleman-style suits. She thought they were so cool because they resembled spies. Daichi then asked Yako why she was so curious about this. She explained she was thinking of buying clothes for Tonome and needed information for reference. Luna suspected they were going twinsies, wearing the same thing, and it was clear that this feline is way too oblivious. Yako obviously wanted to pick an outfit for her upcoming date. Covering her face in embarrassment, she asked Luna that they keep this between themselves. She'd been buying the same kind of outfits, so she didn't end up with mismatches. But she wanted something special for special days. Luna was excited to become her shopping buddy. Daichi mentioned Luna being pretty overbearing and warned her not to push Yako around too much. At the clothing store, Yako looked good in different outfits. She usually went girlish and casual with her clothes, but Luna wanted her to have some more mature things she could wear to high-class restaurants. Before trying on the next dress, Yako used her phone to get a description. However, Luna offered to describe the dress for her. She said the blouse had a lively fabric. Lively, in this context, meant it flowed like hair, which made it seem really dynamic. Feeling a bit guilty, she apologized to Yako for not being considerate of her. What Daichi had said earlier bothered her, on top of the fact she made Yako trip over her bike. Still, Yako felt like this wasn't like her. Wondering if her stomach was bothering her, she told Luna to stop eating things off the ground. Luna nearly went off on her, but she'd calmed down, realizing Yako could throw shade as well. The next day, Tonome asked Daichi if there were any restaurants he could recommend. Daichi coldly said he wouldn't know. He had no interest in indulging in conversation. With no other choice, Tonome went back to work. Getting a message on his phone, he saw some restaurant links Daichi sent. Shortly after, Karma and Light would come to the office to report a case. There were some unsavory characters in white hoods who sat in a car across the street from their shop every day. They'd been collecting info about them from the neighborhood and taking pictures from their car. Light sounded very worried. On the other hand, her not-so-bright husband was excited to have stalkers. Apparently, those stalkers were also following them around. Tonome promised to look into the suspects and come up with some countermeasures. Afterwards, Daichi traced the tracker Luna had installed on the car to a big farmer corp in the mountains. As for the people in the car, they dressed the same, but their faces were all different. Daichi felt this could be pretty dire. This could be way more than stalking. Suddenly, they received word from Luna. Bad news. A couple of cars stopped in front of the shop, and a bunch of men marched out. She took the lovebirds out the back way, and they were on the run now. Seeing there were multiple threats, Tonome and Daichi would head out, leaving Yako to hold down the fort. She prayed they'd work it out safely. Moments after they left, a knock came at the door. Yako went to the person, believing it was a usual customer. Sadly, she couldn't see the white-hooded man before her. As she confirmed being alone, the man was about to make a move. That's when Tonome's arm wrapped around his neck, strangling him. He had already suspected they'd target the agency. The hooded man then revealed himself to be a white elf. He turned out to be Light's father, who was running a pharmaceutical company. He was only worried about his daughter and wanted to check in on her. But why the hell did he have to involve their whole clan? And in disguises as well. Their response to this was they just didn't want her to notice. Karma teased him, saying, "Aw, daddy, clumsy you." And Light's dad would stare him down with threatening eyes, letting Karma know that he still hadn't given his blessing, especially with Karma being a dark elf. Dang, the species racism. Well, it's not like Karma even asked for it either way. The case was closed. Later in the night, they all celebrated with pizza and drinks for a job well done. They didn't have many chances for this. Daichi just wanted to go home early, and Luna teased him for not getting girls. To their surprise, Daichi already had a partner. Noticing Yoko didn't drink, Luna asked why. She explained that it would dull her senses, making it more difficult for her to get home. So, Luna offered to walk her home and told her she was free to drink as much as she wanted, only for her to fall asleep moments later. Oh my gosh. Tonome ended up calling a taxi for Yoko and would make sure she got home safely. During the ride, her mind was all over the place. Her face was steaming red with nervousness. She wondered if she should invite him up for tea when they got to her place. But she didn't even know if her room was suitable for company. He mentioned there was a restaurant he was interested in going to and invited her to come along. It was a dark restaurant where everyone ate in a pitch black interior. This was a chance for him to experience the world she lived in. She happily agreed to be his guide in the dark. Arriving at her home, she invited him for a cup of tea, but he didn't want to leave the taxi waiting. However, he'd happily come back again sometime. As he left, Yoko panicked, thinking she needed to get someone to review her room for her. Meeting up for their next date, Tonome complimented Yoko's beautiful dress. At the restaurant, there were little lights on the tables that lit up the place. Soon after, all the lights were put out, plunging everyone into complete darkness. Now, Tonome was in her world. Yoko asked him to pat around the table to find where everything was. From his voice, she could tell he was quite nervous. When their food came, she loved it. While he didn't sound too happy, he'd excuse himself to freshen up. In the bathroom, he didn't understand why he was so nervous and breathing hard. After washing up, Yoko was right outside waiting for him, asking if she wanted to leave. Outside, he apologized for cutting their outing short. He felt bad for wasting the food and promised to make it up to her. However, she had already thought ahead by asking the staff to package it for them. She couldn't wait to get back and enjoy the meal, and neither could he. He would then invite her over to his place nearby. Only after she agreed did she realize what he just asked. Over at Tonome's place, he arranged their meals into plates and poured a glass of wine for her. Yoko was so nervous, all she could respond with was, "Oh." Once again, he apologized for the trouble today. Tonome may have never realized it until now, but he was actually afraid of the dark. The only reason he could think of this was when he was part of a sleepaway camp for children. There was a time when they hosted a test of courage. They had to hold a candle and walk up a mountain road. His partner would run ahead of him, leaving him lost and alone in the woods. The clouds would cover the moonlight, causing everywhere to become dark. Tonome decided to wait for someone to get him, but sadly, no one came. He gave up on waiting and managed to make it back to the cabins. Everyone carried on with their activities, not even realizing he was gone. Tonome was deeply hurt. Because he was invisible, it didn't matter to them if he was there or not. In the end, he was traumatized by that experience. He never really realized how much the dark made him uncomfortable. Grabbing his shirt, Yoko told him she noticed these things. His sounds were usually so put together, so it was easy to tell he was flustered. Even now, he was trying to sound cheerful, but the sounds of his glass and the rate he was drinking at were all scrambled. She could tell he was really scared and sad. Moved by her caring words, Tonome asked, "Will you be my girlfriend?" Yoko shrieked back, stunned by his request. It was quite the reaction, but she didn't have any problem with it. He realized he liked having her nearby. Yoko wondered what would happen now, since they just started dating, but wherever her mind was, it wasn't what Tonome was thinking. He made it clear he planned to drop her off and come back straight home. Being the smooth man he was, he'd grab her by the waist, asking if she wanted him to do something. Being mentally unprepared, Yoko could only keep squealing. He'd embrace her warmly, and she'd squeal again. It had been a week since Yoko and Tonome started dating. She longed for more lovey-dovey moments with him. They had promised to keep their private lives separate from work, but she was getting embarrassed being so distracted like this. On the other hand, he was so focused on his work. With no other choice, she too would become a demon for work, and hereby swore to seal away her lovey-dovey urges. Tonome would approach her, mentioning how things had been quite busy lately. However, he asked if they could set aside their promise for just a moment. He'd softly embrace her, apologizing for burdening her with his impatience. They then agreed to go somewhere for the weekend. All this when Yuko had just hardened her heart. To punish him for breaking their promise, she'd tickle him. Daichi happened to be outside, waiting for them to be done with their love show. Signing out from work early, Tonome offered to walk Yuko home. This time, she prepared herself to receive him properly. He wanted to call a taxi, but she suggested they walk together. On the train ride, she was so nervous, wanting Operation Share a Cup of Tea, Take 2 to go smoothly. She even had her mother check her room for cleanliness 3 days ago. Plus, she had also put her laundry away. Seeing how nervous she was, Tonome would lean into her ear, asking if she'd invite him over for tea again. She got flustered. Her whole face was completely red, but she agreed to make all kinds of tea for him. As they got to her place, she mentioned she had brought some sweets as well. Then, she asked Tonome to have a seat while she went to prepare the tea. He'd offer to help, but she wouldn't have that. He was a guest after all. Although she had cleaned recently, she apologized in case she missed anything. But luckily, everywhere was perfectly clean. Sometimes, she dropped things and didn't notice. Tonome could imagine how troubling that was. Suddenly, his eyes darted to a piece of her underwear on the floor. Quite the situation he found himself in, and he didn't know what to do. Deciding not to speak up about this, he tried not to stare. As she served him a cup of tea, he thought it was probably safest to pretend he didn't see the underwear. But there was no telling when she might realize it was there. There was also a chance someone else could come by and see it first. He had to find a way to let her know without hurting her. This was where his detective skills would come in. Just then, Yuko happened to step on it, and picking it up, she tried to figure out what it was. That's when Tonome told her it looked like a handkerchief, which she hastily agreed to. He'd quickly changed the subject, asking if they could have the sweets now. Shortly after, they sat together, enjoying some muffins. This was nice. Considering Tonome was always invisible, it usually took 2 seconds for things that entered his body to become invisible as well. It felt rude to let people see he was chewing, so he usually waited for it to become invisible first. Yuko could relate. When she was a kid, her parents told her not to chew with her mouth open. He was sometimes jealous of people who could enjoy their food with abandon, so she let him know that he was free to eat as quickly as he wanted in front of her. She couldn't see it anyway. She'd panic, thinking it would have been better to say, "Because we're dating." But it was too embarrassing to say that outright. To her, it didn't feel like they were a couple yet. He would then gulp down the muffin, only to feel like he had done something offensive. After enjoying their treats, she asked him to stay safe on his way home. She still felt quite embarrassed, finding her undies on the ground. Luckily for her, he thought it was a handkerchief. At least, he let her live on that fantasy. Tonome would then ask that they use each other's first names when in private. The thought of it made her blush, and as he addressed her as Shizuka, she'd squeal. It would take her some time to get used to it. Captivated by her charm, he felt like kissing her. Sighted and visible people usually make eye contact to judge the timing of a kiss, but that wasn't possible for either of them. She thought about coming up with a signal for it, and he'd take that as the signal, kissing her forehead. Later at the office, Tonome was handing out work to Daichi and Luna. Ko asked if something nice happened, noticing a spring in his step and voice. He had gotten a new suit, and he really liked it. He asked if he looked good in it, but Luna couldn't tell because he was invisible. Hearing the hurt in his voice, Yuko wanted to help, but she didn't know much about clothes. Daichi then mentioned the suit gave off good vibes, which Luna agreed to as well. That managed to cheer up Tonome. Yuko couldn't participate in this topic, but she was glad that he was so happy. He'd approach her, mentioning that the suit's fabric had a nice feel, and asked if she'd like to touch it. Brushing her fingers against it, she thought it was really soft, and hearing him so happy, she thought he was so cute, the way he was acting like a little boy. Although he didn't know much about fashion, he really liked clothes. After all, it was the only way he could express himself. With curiosity, Luna asked him how invisible people made their clothes invisible as well. He responded their bodies produced a substance that made them invisible. Full invisibility was like flipping a switch in their bodies to turn it on and off. Yuko then asked if her hand would disappear if they held hands. He offered to try it, which got her shrieking. But of course, it wouldn't work on living things. Her face was steaming red, just thinking about his linked fingers with hers. Tonome would also mention that they weren't allowed to go fully invisible in public, although he had a special license for it due to his job. But his full invisibility would of course cause people to bump into him more. Entering the Elf Garden tea shop, Yuko brought her mother along this time. Her mother was so excited to make her own tea for the first time. Light wondered if Yuko had told her mom about Tonome yet, seeing as they were dating now. During an earlier visit, Light and Karma brought some tea cakes to the office, apologizing for all the trouble from earlier. Karma then asked Yuko about her relationship, which she confirmed. Light suspected Yuko may not have mentioned him to her mother, so she decided not to say anything. But Karma would show up, blurting it all out. Surprisingly, Yuko's mom wasn't bothered by it. In fact, she was quite eager to meet Tonome, happy that her daughter had a boyfriend. At the office, while Tonome and Yuko tried keeping things professional, it was pretty obvious to their colleagues that they were already dating. Luna was tired of Yuko deflecting the question anytime she asked. Going to confront them, Daichi told them to just call each other whatever they wanted. Everyone already knew they were dating. After that, Madaraito came into the office with a new job for Tonome. It was about a case he was working on. He wanted to get some information that would help his client. Before leaving, he'd compliment Tonome's suit. Considering lawyers didn't get to play around with their fashion, Madaraito was a little jealous. Tonome suggested getting adventurous with pocket squares and accessories, which got him really cheery. Madaraito was a cheerful person who always noticed little things to praise about Tonome. Turns out, he was the partner Daichi had mentioned earlier. However, he hadn't told the agency yet. Madaraito wished he would, so that they could call him if anything happened at the office. Since he was coming back to the agency next week, the couple agreed to break the news then. Days later, Daichi finally introduced Madaraito as his partner. Luna didn't get what this guy saw in Daichi. but apparently they'd been dating since high school. Before Madaraito could say anything about how they met in the mountains, Daichi told him to leave. He didn't like mixing his work and private life. The next day, as Yako lay in bed with a fever, she got a call from Tonome. She was suffering from a cold and would really love it if he dropped by. So he agreed to come. She was so happy until she remembered her mother was here. She'd call for her mom, but hearing no response, she assumed her mom had gone home. Yako would then open the door for Tonome. Luckily, he couldn't catch human colds, so she didn't need to wear a mask. He would then offer to make some egg rice for her, both of them not knowing Yako's mother was outside hanging clothes. Once the food was ready, Tonome served her in bed in a cute voice. Yako asked him to feed her, which he happily obliged to. Being fed had her squealing with so much joy. She could barely contain herself. Then he'd climb onto her bed, wiping off some rice on her face. She blushed hard and steamy. And at that moment, Yako's mom came in. She'd been trying to hide without interrupting. As she excused herself, Yako was boiling in embarrassment over the fact you haven't liked the video and subscribed to my channel yet. Because here on my Shoujo Weekly, I've got tons of stories in the shoujo genre. Is this shoujo? Not really. But I thought it'd be interesting to cover. Okay, maybe an invisible man isn't your cup of tea. Well then, you can watch tons of visible handsome guys in my series playlist. So come on, hit that subscribe or I'm done making YouTube videos. On another day, Madaraito brought a client who needed an investigation. As she walked in, Tonome and his colleagues were shocked. The client was an invisible woman named Aya Sukiya. She had never met an invisible person in the city. Seeing Tonome, she was relieved to have a member of her species helping her, and he too was very happy to provide help. As they went into the meeting room, Luna teased Yako, saying she seemed self-conscious. Though she tried to deny it, Yako's feelings were obvious. Aya's voice sounded a bit friendlier than the usual clients, which made her jealous. In the meeting room, Aya mentioned she had been accused of theft. The money went missing from a safe at work. Since no one was visible on the security cameras, the vice president decided the culprit was an invisible person. There was no word from the president since he was in the hospital. Even though there was no proof of Aya being the culprit, the vice president was convinced it was her. It was difficult to get an alibi as well, because invisible people couldn't be identified by their faces. Aya happened to be somewhere else that day, but she didn't know how to prove it was her to establish an alibi. However, Tonome was on the case. Shortly after, Gamaiki, the vice president, was invited to the office. As Tonome asked to see data from the security cameras, Gamaiki became visibly nervous. From the footage, no one had interacted with the safe between when Gamaiki last closed it and when he opened it yesterday. Getting a bit flustered and frantic, he insisted it must be an invisible person, using their ability to completely go invisible. Suddenly, Tonome instantly vanished. He'd used Gamiki's handkerchief, wiping off his sweat and fixing his tie. With this, he explained that full invisibility didn't make them intangible, so there was no way Aya could steal money from a safe that wasn't open. Gamiki tried to brush it off, claiming the money must have just gone missing. Oh my god, his lies were bad and he couldn't hide it even under all that sweat. Madaraito would then show a video of him secretly depositing money into an ATM daily. It was obvious he exploited Aya's attributes to lay the suspicion on her. And now, the frog was speechless. Not only was he guilty of defamation, but embezzlement as well. The president of the company would then show up, questioning his vice president about what he had done. Gaimiki's actions were without a doubt premeditated. Afterwards, Aya thanked Tonome for his help. She'd be able to keep her job, thanks to the president explaining everything to the others. As she left, Tonome would thank his colleagues for their swift investigation. Despite having other things to see to, Yako was able to make sure their schedules lined up. They were able to split it amongst themselves. It was even Yako's idea in the first place. She wanted to do something to help Tonome. Feeling embarrassed, she explained she didn't do much and apologized for going too far. When he asked why, she recalled the anger in his voice earlier, but couldn't bring herself to tell him that. Still, he thanked her sincerely. To show gratitude to everyone, he suggested going on a company trip. They quickly agreed on a mountain with a campground. He hoped Yako would also have fun. Hearing his voice, she could tell he was back to normal. Days later, they arrived at the mountain area. Madaraito handed out tasks to both Yako and Luna. He seemed to like camping, given that he brought most of the camping equipment. However, he spoke of how he used to hate the mountains, but it was thanks to Daichi he came to love them. Tonome and Yako would then go for a walk. He'd make sure she was okay with their pace. Then, took her to the far side of the road because of the steep cliff on the other side. They both felt really safe with each other. Recalling his terrible experience back in the mountains, Yako asked if he was really okay with the trip. Although he had some lingering trauma, he felt he could handle anything with her here. So his trauma was forgotten. Seeing the bench nearby, they'd take a break. She didn't feel she was worth that much to him. However, he mentioned how she helped with Aya's case. Remembering how angry he was back then made her flustered. Imagining if it had been Tonome who was accused, the thought made her feel so sad and suffocated. Leaning closer, he let her know there was no need to worry about it so much. She could sense the sudden change in his body heat and smell. Historically, invisible people had been treated with suspicion, so he was grateful to both her and his colleagues who helped to clear Aya's name. He'd pull her in close to his body. She squealed, blushing so hard. He'd chuckle at how cute she was. He definitely couldn't hide his feelings from her, and that made him the happiest. He wanted her to uncover more things about him. Holding her face softly, he'd kiss her passionately. Yuko went completely red, realizing what just happened. Of course, she was okay with it. He told her it was time to return to the camp, but she'd pull him back, asking that they stay like this for just a bit longer. By nightfall, they finally returned. Madaraito recalled how he used to hate the mountains. He hated them so much that he started to hold a grudge. Back then, he thought, I'm gonna find the guy who came up with school trips to the mountains and sue him for all he's worth. Turns out, he was on the chubby side and needed to get his cardio up. No wonder Fatty hated the mountains so much. This is a sign you should take daily walks or do cardio weekly. That way, you don't have this problem too. He'd tell his friends to go on without him and that he would catch up later. Slowly, everyone started leaving him behind. He hated school trips. That's when he caught sight of Daichi. They were in the same class and had never spoken before, but having him back there helped Madaraito keep going. However, motivation could only take him so far. Completely exhausted, he'd sit by a tree to rest. Daichi then came along, giving him a bottle of water. He also helped carry Madaraito's bag, telling him to walk faster. When they finally got to the summit, Madaraito asked Daichi if he wanted to have lunch together, but Daichi didn't see the point. It wasn't like they were friends. To him, his actions were like giving up a seat to a random old person on the train. Madaraito insisted on eating together regardless. He saw Daichi as an awkward guy. That was why he didn't hear about him getting dates, even though he was good looking. He then offered to share his lunch with Daichi. On the bus, they sat next to each other. Madaraito woke up from sleep, seeing Daichi asleep as well. But it was awkward to see that they were holding hands. He tried to slip his hand away, but on second thought, decided to hold firmly. Daichi was shocked to see this, but had no problems with it as well. From then on, they started dating. The next day, while everyone else went fishing, Tonome waited for Yuko to get ready. Since Luna wasn't there, she'd call him in to help with her swimsuit. He was charmed by her looks. Snapping back to his senses, he helped her untangle the strap that was stuck in the frill. He thought the swimsuit was charming and told her how much he loved it. Once he was done helping her, they met with the others. Luna couldn't help but compliment how adorable Yuko looked. While they enjoyed the feel of water, Luna slapped some fish onto their faces. Tonome would try fishing, but was hopeless. Luna noticed he had a well-built physique, seeing how the wet shirt stuck to his body. Yuko advised him to take off the wet shirt out of concern, but he couldn't because if he took it off, they'd be able to see into his shorts from the top. It was very embarrassing, but the girls didn't get it. Shortly after, Yuko told Tonome that she didn't like it when other people uncovered things about him. It made him chuckle, but he'd apologize about that. That sweet moment would be interrupted by Luna, asking them to take it somewhere else. On the ride back, the girls had fallen asleep, but the guys were still awake. Tonome thought about how he wanted to go on a trip alone with Yuko, but it was probably too soon for that. On another day at the office, Yuko kept giggling to herself for some reason. She wasn't concentrating at all. It finally dawned on her that she and Tonome kissed during their camping trip. That was their first kiss. For someone who had no prior romantic experiences, the thought of it made her flush. After work, Tonome asked if she'd be okay stopping by a bar after dinner. However, she thought it was nice that he seemed so unaffected. He looked so calm and collected. Tonome would place her hand on his chest, showing her that he too was nervous. He was completely beside himself on the bench that day, and was sure she noticed. Recalling the way he pulled her in made her blush hard again. He asked if she disliked men who weren't always the picture of dignity, and she said she loved them. Shortly after, they stopped by the bar. Being served a cocktail, Yuko noticed the unique shape of the glass. She didn't really go to bars, and it was quite rare for her to drink outside her home. She wondered if most people came to bars to drink. Tonome told her it was a place where people came to share the pleasures of drinking, or to also spend more time with someone. She found herself blushing hard again. Everything he said made her heart skip a beat. Deciding to toughen up, she chugged the whole drink in one go. Uh-oh. Then, she sat beside him, saying she had no experience in romance. She believed her unrelenting childishness disgusted him, but it didn't. Above all, she asked his forgiveness, given that their kiss was her first. Tonome wondered why she always wanted forgiveness for things, though he had seen hints of that since their first date. On the car ride back, his silence was quite unsettling for Yuko. She felt guilty for blabbering so much back at the bar. Soon, they would arrive at her home. He asked the driver to wait for a bit so he could take her inside. She'd invite him in for tea, but he'd have to decline today. His refusal struck her deeply. She thought he was disgusted by her. At her door, she thanked him for today, But before going in, he hugged her warmly, knowing that she had complicated feelings about what they talked about today. He asked for permission to treasure her. She blurted out how she felt more than adequately treasured by him, mentioning the raise he gave her earlier. Ooh, the boss and employee dynamic. I actually forgot about it. That makes things spicier. Tonome was glad to hear it. Now, he could go home with a light heart. She'd asked what he meant by that in a panicked tone, but I guess she'll never know. The next day, Tonome had to run in the rain, getting soaked by the time he reached the office. Just as he took his clothes off, Yuko walked in, being soaked herself. He was freezing, but he'd allow her to use the heater on the table and even gave her the towel he was about to use. Noticing he was quite prepared, she asked if he got hit by the rain as well, but he told her not to worry about it. He was flustered seeing her take off her clothes, so he left to get a blanket for her. Returning with the blanket, she'd accidentally touch his hands. Noticing they were wet and cold, he took advantage of her blindness so she wouldn't have to worry about him. As the downpour continued, they'd shared the blanket and heater. Being so close together, she felt embarrassed. On the other hand, he was calm. He placed his hand on hers. She returned the gesture, letting him know that getting to do this with him made her very happy. Moved by his words, he held her face, leaning in for a kiss. And Luna just had to barge in, ruining things again. Luckily, they were able to act naturally before she could notice a thing. After speaking on the phone with her mom about meeting her boyfriend properly, Yuko found herself at a cafe with her mom and Tonome. As Tonome handed over a gift, she wondered what exactly she should be talking about. She wondered if it was going to be one of those, "Are you thinking about marriage?" conversations. It was too early for that. Yuko wondered if Tonome was thinking about what happened before. Hearing her mom thanking him, she questioned what this was about. Apparently, he had given her a 30% girlfriend's mother discount on any future investigations. Yuko warned him not to encourage her mom because she was quite incorrigible. But he'd chuckle, seeing how close they were. As for why she wanted to hire him, Yuko's mom spoke about checking her father for infidelity. Seems her mom was good at jokes too. Walking back together, Yuko apologized for her mother's brazen behavior. But Tonome didn't mind. He was actually nervous about meeting her for the first time, but their conversation flowed well. He could tell she was a good mom. They also discussed something important. Yuko's mom was worried about how she was doing at work and whether she was getting along with her coworkers. Tonome assured her that her daughter was extremely capable and reliable. She was glad to hear this and asked him to take good care of Yuko. The following day, the two lovebirds were out again. He handed her a rose as a gift, letting her know they were at a rose garden today. She was flush, especially since she had never received a rose from a man before. It was like a romance novel. Walking through the garden, it smelled so nice. It felt like being showered in rose petals. Tonome asked if she didn't want to leave her rose in the car, but she wanted to keep it with her. Yuko hoped she wasn't acting childish again, but he was glad to see how much she liked it. He then decided to take her to the cafe there. It was said they used rose petals in all their sweets. Different kinds of sweet smells filled the air, helping her navigate her plate. He said at 12 o'clock, there was a scone. At 3, there was a sandwich. At 6, a tart. And at 9, a piece of cake. As he mentioned that the sweets were adorable, she asked what he meant by that. He explained that they were small, topped with fruit or cream, and were in a variety of colors. Staring at how she enjoyed the sweet treats, he thought she was adorable. We returned to the office, where Yuko was startled by Karma suddenly welcoming her. Screaming in fear, she threw a right hook that sent him to the ground. Only after that did she realize it was him. Tonome rushed in to defend her, pointing out that he told Karma to quietly wait. He then asked what he wanted today, totally giving off the cold shoulder. Light wasn't with him because she had other plans. Usually, she'd tell Karma about her plans, but this time, she left without much of an explanation. Having free time on his hands, he came to their office to hang out. What a bum. Today was a work day. Karma mentioned that he needed people around him, but how was this Tonome's problem? He'd then get a call from Light. The message that followed was unexpected. Light had gone back to her parents, and the fear of divorce slowly crept in. Karma panicked. Tonome asked him to go home and give her a call. Obviously, he wanted to get rid of the dark elf, but Karma refused. He was staying put. Feeling pity for him, Yuko suggested they humor Karma for just a little while. And just like that, Tonome got a roommate for the night. Waking up the next morning, Karma offered to make him a meal or help with a bath, whichever he preferred. But Tonome just wanted him to be gone. Still, Karma would serve him breakfast. Tonome asked if he had called Light, but he was too scared to do it yet. Because of that, he planned to stay a bit longer. As they got to the office, Yuko could sense that Tonome seemed down. Dealing with the dark elf wasn't an easy task, but he felt much better with her here. To show his gratitude, Karma would offer to help with their detective work today. He and Tonome found the target they were supposed to tail. Seeing that they'd lose him if he flew away, Karma would put his abilities to use. Blowing a dark dust on the bird's wings, The target couldn't fly away. Karma had placed a curse on the target. Apparently, dark elves could use curses to dampen the abilities of others, but he needed to be in a dark headspace for it to work. It turned out that he was more pressed about his divorce than expected. Tonome invited him to stay over again today, but in exchange, he had to call Light. Returning to the office, Tonome was still getting Karma to call his wife. They'd been at it for over an hour, but eventually, Light picked up. After speaking with her, Karma would suddenly rush out, saying he had to go home. Either way, Tonome could now get a break and share a moment with Yako. She asked if he hated Karma. However, it wasn't like that. Not only were they opposite personalities, but Tonome was a bit jealous of how expressive Karma was. Since he wanted to be more expressive, Yako persuaded him to get right to it. He placed his head on her shoulder, and she patted softly. Invisible people didn't have that custom of head pats, but he appreciated it. Using that chance, she ran her hands all over his face to get a proper feel of it. She didn't even touch her family this much. Likewise, he touched her face as well, startling her. He thought it was strange for skin to have colors and shadows as well. He found it funny how it changed color with one's blood flow. Refusing to be defeated, she grabbed his face again, but this time, her hands mistakenly got in his mouth. The next day, Tonome came out dressed as a high school student. Yuko thought it was extremely adorable. His next investigation was in a place frequented by students, and since you couldn't eyeball his age, he was perfect for an undercover operation. Next up was Daichi, who came out dressed as a police officer. He totally looked the part without even trying. Luna tried to wrap up the preparations, but Daichi would stop her right there. She was yet to model her own disguise, and tried to run away, but he wouldn't let her. Her uniform was supposed to be that of the undercover target. Shortly after, they were at a cafe. There, Luna was dressed up in a little maid outfit as one of the waitresses. Despite being embarrassed, she had a job to do. Still, she wished her fur were plain like everyone else's. She thought theirs were soft and cute, unlike her patterned fur. Getting back to the office, she hugged Yako tightly, complaining about how exhausting everything was. She mentioned the cute little girls who looked great in their maid outfits. Although she was able to carry out her job, Luna didn't see herself as cute. So being in that setting made her uncomfortable. Yako couldn't see her, so she couldn't exactly tell. Regardless, Luna felt very cute to her, and she was happy to get to snuggle her softness as she stroked her fur. Luna would then invite her out for a shopping spree to get some clothes. When they got to the mall, Ko was the one trying out all the new clothes. Not wanting to steal all the focus, she suggested they get some things for Luna as well. She was a bit worn out anyway, and decided to take a break. On the other hand, Luna thought her fur pattern was so aggressive, which made it hard to pick out clothes. The outfit in her hand was cute, but she feared the two patterns would clash if she tried it on. Following that, they stopped by a cafe for some pancakes. Luna asked Yako if she had ever envied others before, like those who could see. But Yako had no idea what that was like, so she couldn't be jealous. Luna envied how Yako's skin was all one color. It made it easy for her to look cute in clothes. If only she could pull it off. The maid and customers in the maid cafe all said she looked good, but that wasn't what she wanted. No matter how much everyone else complimented her, it wasn't the kind of cute she wanted to be. Due to that, Luna would probably never see herself as cute. Feeling self-conscious, she told Yako that she'd been thinking about dyeing her fur. Yako didn't think much of it, but it wasn't that easy. Luna's family line came from the bobcat people in America. Their fur patterns were proof of their heritage, but being born and raised here, she felt she didn't owe anyone anything. Changing the subject, Yako suddenly remembered how Tonome whispered his thoughts about things he was looking at. On one occasion, he complimented how beautiful the moon looked. When she asked why he said that, he wasn't so sure. He wondered if it was beautiful to have a round, golden ball against the blackness of the sky. By his reasoning, she thought a yuzu fruit on a bed of nori seaweed would be pretty. But for Tonome, he thought of it as a full moon night for just the two of them. Yako would end up giggling to herself, and Luna would call her back to her senses. Either way, Yako pointed out that when one made up their mind, they didn't need anyone's advice to go through with it. So maybe Luna was yet to find an answer she was comfortable with. In other words, she probably didn't really see her pattern as a flaw. Returning to the mall, Luna tried on the dress she was holding earlier, but it just wasn't giving what she wanted. The salesman told her that they had the dress in other colors. However, she'd complain about it clashing with her pattern. Then, he let her know it was possible to make mixed pattern outfits. He suggested she was better with a cinched belt and a color that matched her fur. Luna tried out the outfit he brought out, and safe to say, she loved it. We returned to the office where Karma came crying to Tonome. His wife had gone back to her parents again because she had to look after her dad in the hospital. Karma asked to stay here until Light was back. He usually ended up in a bad mood when his wife wasn't around. Plus, he thought about venting his curses on their investigations like he did before. As for the tea shop, it was shut down for now. If Karma didn't vent his curses, they would leak out and affect all kinds of things. Little misfortunes here and there, as he called it. Light would be gone for 5 months, and the thought of not seeing his wife for that long left him in despair. Yako and Luna, who overheard the conversation, thought 5 months sounded suspicious. Back home, the girls hopped on video call with Light to check on her. And as expected, Light was pregnant. Being a white elf, she had the power of blessings, so she and Karma's powers canceled each other out. But elves as a race had a low pregnancy rate, so when one of them was carrying, it was a big deal. Once one of them knew they were pregnant, they'd spend time in the sacred elf forest in the white elf village. Then, they would perform rituals to pray for a safe birth, where the people spent every day casting blessings on them. And the elves in the village also supported in every way they could the princess treatment life. So Light kept the news from her husband because the life she was carrying was precious. If anything were to happen to her or the baby, he'd surely blame himself. She was keeping the news from him to make their lives easier. However, she was more worried about what he'd do without her there. Yuko didn't want to mention him storming their office in tears, but Luna let the cat out of the bag. Later on, Yuko and Tonome decided to have hot pot for dinner, and they agreed to have it over at her place. She asked him to wash the vegetables while she cut them, but he couldn't help but be worried that she'd cut herself. Though it seemed she was pretty used to this, Tonome was really happy at the fact they'd grown closer since they started dating, and he'd been able to learn so much about her. Recently, she too realized that the smell she thought was his was actually that of his suit. Not wearing his suit now, he asked if she wanted to check his smell, and she happily agreed. Feeling flustered, he wondered if he should get undressed, but she'd tell him not to do that. After enjoying their meal, he brought out some custard cream puff for dessert. Realizing what it was, she apologized because apparently the cream would spill over when she ate them. Meanwhile, Light and Karma got on a call together. Karma missed her so much and really couldn't wait to see her. She finally let him know about the pregnancy, also telling him there were other things she was keeping a secret. Light reminded him of when they got married. Karma wanted to back down, believing he wasn't suitable for a white elf like her. She let him know that the conflict between their parents' generation had nothing to do with them. However, he was more worried about his curse powers and whether he could really make her happy. The thought of anything happening to her, he just couldn't bear it. Because of that, Light kept the pregnancy from him. She feared he'd just run away. Surprisingly, he knew she was pregnant and actually did try running away. Dang, he almost left to get the milk. But he swore to never run again. He apologized for making her keep this to herself. How did he know about the pregnancy in the first place? He called her father, being worried about him. But her father yelled at Karma, telling him to stay away from his grandchild. As for the other thing she was keeping a secret from him, she told him to wait and see. On another day, Luna went back to the mall to shop for new clothes. Sadly, she didn't see the lizard person who gave her outfit suggestions from before. The sales girl would attend to her, but she definitely wasn't comfortable with the clothes. She couldn't trust the choices of plain-furred staff. She asked for the person from the other day, and after a short while, he showed up. After asking for his help with outfits, they went back to pick out some clothes. Luna showed up in really nice clothes, and her pattern wasn't getting in the way. The lizard complimented her great figure, saying she'd look good in anything, though she didn't think that was the case. If she looked so great in anything, she wouldn't need his help. He decided to give her his card, and introduced himself as Ako Mizunami. It had been his dream to open up his own shop, catering to patterned people. He looked forward to her patronage. On another day, Tonome and Yako stopped by a flower shop Yako had always been curious about. Every time she passed it, she could smell the blooms from the sidewalk, sweet, fresh, and inviting. When Tonome told her to pick any flower she liked, she chose roses without hesitation. He asked for 3, and the shopkeeper smiled as she prepared them. Calling for her husband to package the bouquet, that was when a huge, demon-like man suddenly appeared from the window behind the counter. The shopkeeper was a human, but her husband was an Oni, an interspecies marriage, an interspecies couple. Hearing that made Yako's chest tighten in a way she couldn't explain, because it reminded her of herself and Tonome. The shopkeeper mentioned she recognized Yako as the girl who always paused outside the shop. Yako apologized for never coming in before, but the woman waved it off warmly. The Oni handed them the finished bouquet and casually added baby's breath for free. Tonome stared in disbelief. Those massive hands somehow wrapped flowers delicately, like he'd been doing it forever. When they got back to the office, Tonome suggested placing the flowers in the middle of the room, right on the table. Yako agreed immediately. Then, Tonome asked if she always liked roses. Yako told him the truth. She'd liked them ever since the day he gave her one. This simple answer hit Tonome harder than any confession. His heart started racing and he didn't know what to do. Later, while walking past the tree, Yako suddenly startled as acorns rained down around her. She lost her balance and fell. A kid rushed over, apologizing and saying it was his fault. He kicked the tree. But Yoko didn't think a simple kick could have caused something like that. The boy hesitated, then asked if she couldn't see his horns. Yoko calmly told him she was blind. The kid helped her up and admitted he was an Oni human mix. Oni were naturally strong, but he still hadn't learned how to properly control himself. That was why he'd kicked the tree in the first place. He'd been playing with friends, and without meaning to, he pushed one of them too hard. She cried. He only meant to tap her, but sometimes his strength went too far. And if playing only ended with someone getting hurt, then what was the point? So he ran off on his own. Yoko thought he sounded like a lone wolf, which she secretly found cool. But she told him gently that isolating himself wasn't the answer. The boy didn't know what else to do. Not long after, the boy returned to his friends who had been searching for him. He pulled out a cattail and suggested using it to tag people during their game, so nobody would get hurt. The group liked the idea, but then argued it'd be hard to tell who got tagged with only one cattail. They started discussing bundling them together. Yoko listened from nearby, and the sound of it made her smile. Things had turned out better than the boy expected. Back at the office, Tonome was stuck on a case he and Karma had dealt with before. A client believed someone was smuggling their product to sell on the black market, and the Birdman was one of the suspects. Karma wondered if his curse had been useful back then, but since the suspect hadn't done anything obvious, his ability didn't matter much. That was when Yu Kamauchi walked into the office for an interview. He explained he was collecting information for school, and Yoko quickly recognized he was the son of the florist couple they'd visited earlier. When she introduced him to Tonome, Yu's eyes landed on the photos scattered across the table. He froze. He recognized the suspect. Yu explained he'd seen the Birdman while playing with friends. The man had yelled at him, telling them they couldn't be there. Yu even remembered exactly where it happened and told them the location. As Tonome spoke with his colleagues about what to do next, Yu listened closely. When Tonome stepped out, Yu wondered if they were going to the place he'd mentioned. Yoko didn't give him a clear answer. Yu thanked her for the interview and left. But he wasn't actually going home. His plan was to tail Tonome. If he followed along, he could see what detective work was really like and write an amazing report. Yu took out his phone, ready to snap a picture, only to realize Tonome had vanished completely. Panicking, he ran after him, searching. Meanwhile, Tonome had gone fully invisible, having sensed someone following him. He didn't expect it to be Yu, but because it was dangerous, Tonome quickly changed his route. Soon after, Tonome arrived at the scene and found the target. This was his chance to catch the suspect in the act. Before he could make his move, Yu was dragged into the building after being caught taking pictures. The Birdman recognized him immediately as the same kid from yesterday. Yu froze in fear. He stopped struggling, terrified the Birdman would hurt him with his strength. The Birdman ordered the phone taken away and demanded Yu be locked in a back room. Then, the goons returned to their business like nothing happened. Yu had no idea what to do. He was convinced they were going to sell him or dump him in the ocean. He started crying loudly, but the men shouted at him to shut up. Then, a voice spoke from the darkness. "Are you alright?" Yu couldn't see anyone. Tonome quietly assured him there was nothing to worry about. Backup was already on the way. Yu nearly screamed when a pair of invisible hands appeared in front of him. But Tonome immediately shushed him. After Yu calmed down, Tonome motioned for him to stay quiet. Yu stared in awe. The invisible detective was unbelievably cool. In that moment, Yu decided he wanted to become a detective too. Once the backroom door fully closed, Tonome revealed himself and untied Yu. Outside, the Birdman and his accomplices decided to abandon the kid and move their operation elsewhere. Then, the light in the room shut off. Tonome's body stiffened. The darkness dragged him back to the mountains, to that treacherous time when he'd been lost and alone. His hands started jittering. He forced himself to breathe, then pulled out his phone and used the torchlight. Yu, meanwhile, felt overwhelming relief just being with him. He asked Tonome why he became a detective in the first place. Tonome answered honestly, there was a time when something happened to him, and he wanted someone to find him, but nobody did. It made him feel unbearably sad, so he became a detective to find the people who wanted to be found. Yoko called him. Tonome told her he was with Yu, and they were safe, but he asked her to keep talking. He needed the distraction. So, Yoko began telling him a strange fairy tale, the kind she always carried around in her head. When she finished, she told him Luna and Karma had arrived. Outside, Karma used his curse on a goon moving boxes. The man stumbled, and Luna used the opening to plant a tracker on their car. Once it was active, she looked downright thrilled. If these guys were kidnapping kids, she'd hunt them down herself. The next second, Luna jumped down and smashed the first guy from behind. Then, she calmly offered the rest mercy, if they surrendered quietly. One of the humans charged her, desperate to fight back, but he was no match. He hit the ground just like the first. The Birdman attacked next. Swinging a heavy metal bar, Luna knocked the breath out of him and sent him crashing into the wall. Seeing how quickly his colleagues fell, the last man begged for mercy but it was a trick. He pulled out 2 guns and started firing wildly. Somehow, Luna dodged every bullet until the guns clicked empty. Then, she beat him down without hesitation and moved to tie them up. That was when she noticed the Birdman running away. She chased him outside, but he spread his wings and took to the sky. He clearly thought he was safe, until Luna leapt after him. He'd underestimated just how high she could jump. She grabbed him midair, laughing like a maniac and making sure he didn't get away. Inside, Karma reached the back room to rescue Tonome and Yu. One of the goons tried to crush Tonome from behind with a metal rod, but Tonome caught him and knocked him out cleanly. Karma and Yu stared like 2 kids watching an action movie, eyes sparkling. Yako's voice had kept Tonome calm long enough to act. When he finally told her everyone was safe, Yako was glad her fairy tale had actually helped. Later, Tonome remembered the mountains again. The moonlight had once calmed his terrified heart. When he came back to himself, he realized he'd fallen asleep with his head resting in Yako's lap. She'd suggested it because he looked exhausted after everything that happened. And truthfully, she'd been eager to be used as a pillow. Tonome, meanwhile, was shocked to learn he'd been asleep for 15 minutes. Then, he suddenly kissed her. Yako froze, flustered, but Tonome didn't stop. He kissed her properly, deeply, until Yako's face turned completely red. It was exactly like the romance novels she'd read. A real grown-up kiss. Tonome held her close and told her he wanted to stay by her side forever. Yako felt the same. Unfortunately, that was the exact moment the florist family walked in. Yu's mom immediately covered his eyes while thanking Tonome for saving her son. Yu apologized for causing trouble. His father quickly dropped off a plant as a gift, and the family fled as fast as they could. Later that night, Tonome and Yako stopped by their usual bar. They'd become regulars there. Yako remembered how badly she imploded on alcohol the first time they came and felt embarrassed, but Tonome admitted he found it charming. Tonome confessed something else too. When he first invited her out, he worried about the age difference and the fact that he was her boss. He'd been afraid she'd feel pressured, but now he realized it had been unfounded. Lately, he started feeling like the childish one around her. Yako told him how much he'd helped her and how she wanted them to be able to rely on each other. Hearing that, Tonome finally said what he'd been holding back. He wanted to make things official. Not just dating casually, but dating with the goal of marriage. Yako's voice turned squeaky from sheer embarrassment, but her answer was immediate. She wanted to marry him too, because more than anything, she wanted it to be Tonome's hand guiding her, always. For now, they decided to start with the next step. They'd make plans to begin living together. Oh wow, moving in together? You know what that means. Subscribe if you want me to continue with future parts, but for now, watch this next video. It's me, Comfy T. I'll see you all in the next one.